Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Ideal Video Blog. I'm your host Wade Fisher and today finds me in just an amazing location. I'm outside of Granbury, Texas in the studio here of Dr. Scott Myers, who you'll meet in just a second. He's sitting here with me. I came up here with my dad today and Dr. Cross for the Texas A&M has the atrium there in the Kleberg Center that they're going to memorialize to Dr. Howard Hesby. If you didn't know Dr. Hesby, didn't get the chance to meet him, an amazing man, did so much for Texas A&M University, did a lot for animal ag as a whole, worked with a lot of companies out and about, placed students in so many places that it's not even funny. But they're going to memorialize Dr. Hesby in the atrium, and Dr. Myers went through Texas A&M University. He actually grew up around animal ag, competed in some rodeos, went to A&M. He's going to talk to us a little bit about how he got into being an artist. He's going to talk to us about the working on ranches in order to get and capture the feel of what those animals should look like. But jumping right into it, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Let everybody know how we got with you, and then we'll get into your background in a second, but what we're doing with the atrium, in your opinion, what your vision is that we can do for Dr. Hesby.
What I'd like to do is show Dr. Hesby in a light that shows the inner qualities that made him so beloved at Texas A&M. He would go out of his way for countless number of students over and over and over. There are people that they say made the world a better place to be in when he was around. That was Dr. Hesby. And I want to try to create a living memorial, if you will, in bronze of him that not only captures his likeness, but also captures that inner spirit within him, that ability of him to be able to tell people, hey, you can do it. It's not a problem. Just press on, and here's what the little bit of information you need to make your situation better. He was my freshman advisor. I didn't know anyone at Texas A&M other than one person. He invited me into that cluttered office of his. He went through my information line by line, invited me to his home. He took us all in, and I always felt like no matter how bad it got, I had somebody I could go to help me.
Exactly. It's amazing. Now you talk about getting to Texas A&M. Tell everybody a little bit about your background. I know you grew up around Fort Worth, and you actually did some rodeoing in your past.
Yeah, I was a calf roper and also a team roper. Rode a few bucking horses, but I found out I wasn't quite built for that kind of activity. But I really liked roping and just cattle in general and working on ranches. I'd have been an artist. I was the class artist in high school. As you know, there's always one kid that can draw. But, I got to where I was in college, I got more and more interested in it, and I've had this dual life where I was involved with science as far as animals are concerned, and then I was involved with art where animals were concerned. So I'm studying animal science, and at the same time I'm getting more and more interested in Western art, horses and cattle and so forth. So the most logical thing to do was head to Montana. There was a guy, Reggie Collins, was an animal science major at the time. He got a job in Montana, so I called up and I said, look, I can build all the fence that I want to build in Hall Hay in Texas. I just want to ride and rope. And they said, that's all we do, ride and rope. We'll give you all the food you can eat for $400 a month. So I went up, and that was that. I went back to several different ranches, but that's where I started, was in Montana.
Awesome. And Reg, I know you watch the blog, so there's a little shout out to you, buddy, from right here and right down the road from you. And sorry we didn't call when we were in town. But, getting past that, you had this love for science. You had this love to be a vet. Now, once you're studying those animals and drawing those animals, I mean, it all comes together at that point, right? It
should, yeah. And there's this intangible when you're making a piece of art, especially when you're sculpting, where you've studied the anatomy, you've had the lab. And the best example I can give you is I did a 2/3 life-size horse and rider, and I had sculpted the horse and was doing pretty well, and I got right up under his belly, heading back up underneath him, and it dawned on me how that I was making my way with clay and a tool basically on all the knowledge I'd had from anatomy, and not to mention reaching up under a horse and trying to do whatever I need to do. And at that point I realized there was nothing that could take the place of that hands-on experience, of the way that bone felt, the way that muscle felt. So from that point forward, I had to have the subject there in front of me.
That's awesome. So you go to A&M, you're working as a cowboy, you're also doing some sketch work and drawing in order to put yourself through college, or how did that work?
Yeah, we needed some income, needed to get by, and it was cheaper back when I went to school than it is for you, but still, there was a certain expense associated there. What I would do is I would do an original pencil drawing, and the reason I did pencils was they were cheaper. I couldn't afford oil paint, and I certainly couldn't afford to cast a piece of sculpture. So I'd use black and white pencils originally, then I moved into colored pencils with some pastel. I would sell the original, take the money from the original, and print a limited edition print. And actually I started with a printing company in Bryan and then moved to a company in Fort Worth. But that original money would finance my print, and then the print would then, I would sell prints to people, and that is literally how I got through college. I would walk in the halls and somebody would come up to me and say, hey, I've got a cousin that's got a birthday, I need a print. And I said, well, can I bring it tomorrow? And so I started off selling them for $15 a piece, $20, $25, and literally put my way through school, $15, $20 increments.
So you graduated, you got a veterinary medical degree in 1984.
Correct.
And so what's been happening since then?
A lot of hard work. You have to, if you're going to be good at anything, you got to put your time in. Well, God has always presented two lives for me. So I've had two different areas of work, actually. I put in years and years of veterinary practice, and again, I've been doing it for 27 years. At the same time, I never let my art go. I've had periods where I could do more, periods where I could do less, but it's always been there. About 2002, I realized that I needed to make some changes. I still wanted to practice, but I wanted to take that chance. There was a window of opportunity to go out and try to do my art more full time. So I sold my practice, but continued to work there for the new owner, and that allowed me a little more freedom. Since that time, I've done 10 heads for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
These scary guys.
Right here, yes. I've been able to paint on a basis where I can keep a gallery stocked with paintings. And it's been one of those things where God continues to show me that my life is neither art nor veterinary medicine, it's both.
Right. You've done all these different projects. I mean, you've done everything from the pencil sketch that were all over our house when I was growing up,
sure,
all the way to pro football athletes that have been sitting in this studio so that you could sculpt them. What is the project that you look back on and go, and it can be, a painting or a sketch that you look back and go, that is my favorite. That is what I love.
Well, I have two.
Okay.
Russ Grimm is one of the Washington Redskins that was a lineman of the famous Hogs. Right. And you're a little young for that, but your dad will remember Dallas and the Redskins would go at it, and the Hogs were these big, humongous linemen. They're blue collar, they're old school, and Russ, who's the assistant head coach of the Arizona Cardinals now, happens to be one of the nicest people I ever met. So him as an individual was a really special time for me. The other one, though, was Bob Hayes. Bob Hayes is the only man in the world to ever win a Super Bowl ring and an Olympic gold medal.
Oh, wow.
No one has ever done that, ever. And probably won't ever, if you think about
Exactly.
it. I watched Bob Hayes as a small child in the Cotton Bowl play for the Dallas Cowboys. So never in my wildest imagination would I think that this super special man who changed pro football, right. I mean, they had to completely change the way they played him on defense, that I would be the one to sculpt his head for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And his widow and his son were here. I'm told that his son is scary how much he looks like him. So I used his son for the measurements, Bob Hayes Jr., mm-hmm. and that to me is when Roger Staubach, we went to Canton, Ohio, when Roger Staubach introduced Bob Hayes Jr. and took the head off of my sculpture, yeah, that was a pretty big moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Dr. Myers, with all that being said, how can somebody get in touch with you if they want to buy some art from you? Is the best way on your website? The best way is to contact me through scottmyersstudio.com if they want to purchase a painting or inquire about a commission for a sculpture. And that's M-Y-E-R-S. Correct, scottmyersstudio.com. Okay, great. Well, I appreciate having you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning in this week. Be looking for an upcoming episode with Dr. Cross where we talk about the art that Dr. Myers is going to do, where it's going to be put in the atrium, how that project's all coming together, and how you can donate if you're interested in donating to the Dr. Howard Hesby Memorial Atrium. Thanks again.